They experimented on him when he was a kid and turned him into a god. In the darkness beneath Tokyo, wealthy elites gather in an underground arena to watch monsters tear each other apart. These creatures are called players, artificial beings engineered to have no free will, only the instinct to kill. The fights generate billions in gambling revenue because the rich love watching blood sports. But one night, something goes wrong. A new player emerges from its containment cell and slaughters the scientist monitoring it. But instead of attacking blindly, it does something no player has ever done before. It speaks. It tells another player to turn on the spectators. The arena becomes a massacre. 13 players escape into the city and vanish among humans. During the chaos, a scientist named Kanzaki flees the facility carrying a child in his arms. His boss tries to stop him, but Kanzaki claims the child is his and disappears into the night. That child was never supposed to exist. The Amagi Corporation created players as entertainment, but they also created something else. A weapon designed to hunt and destroy the monsters they made. They called it ZET. But Kanzaki believed the child deserved to live as a human. So he stole Zet from the laboratory, gave him the name Jin because it means human, and raised him as his grandson in the slums of Tokyo. The Amagi Corporation has been searching for their stolen weapon ever since. Jin is now a teenager living with Kanzaki in Undertown, the forgotten part of Tokyo where the homeless and worthless are left to rot beneath the elevated highways. No running water, no electricity, no hope, just survival. He doesn't go to school because he can't afford it. He doesn't have a job because no one hires kids from the slums. So he's turned heroism into a business. When someone's being mugged or harassed, Jin shows up and offers to help for 10,000 yen. No money, no rescue. One afternoon, a woman gets cornered in an alley by 3 thugs who make it clear they're not taking no for an answer. Jin appears on top of a wall and offers to save her for his usual fee. She's so desperate that she agrees without hesitation. Jin jumps down and destroys all 3 thugs in seconds. He moves like he's been fighting his whole life, dodging their attacks by bouncing between walls and knocking them out with precise strikes. The woman is shocked by how strong this random teenager is. Moments later, a boy named Kuga shows up in a wannabe hero outfit, mad that Jin didn't call him for backup. He starts lecturing Jin about teamwork and procedures, while his younger sister Konoha tells him to calm down. Kuga is obsessed with a TV show called Alphas, about a superhero who fights evil and protects the innocent. He's been dragging Jin on patrols around the city, pretending to be a champion of justice. Jin thinks it's stupid, but he goes along with it because Kuga is his only friend. The difference between them is obvious. Kuga sees criminals while Jin sees people in danger. Kuga wants to defeat evil while Jin just wants to get paid because he understands something that Kuga's privileged life has never taught him. Survival comes first, and justice doesn't fill your stomach. When the woman tries to pay Jin, Kuga angrily drags him away because he believes justice should never ask for a reward. Jin is still yelling for his money as Kuga pulls him along. At the park, Jin notices Konoha has a bandage on her hand and shows her his own mark, a ring-shaped symbol embedded in his palm that he calls the Angel's Ring. Kanzaki told him to hide it from everyone, but he's showing them because they're his friends. Konoha says her bandage is just a scratch, so Jin tells her to put spit on it because his grandpa taught him that humans have natural healing powers. He doesn't know how wrong he is. Later that day, the woman finds Jin and pays him the money she promised. Her name is Akemi, and she gives Jin her business card while promising to buy him food sometime. Jin pockets the money and heads home without thinking much of it. But when he arrives at Undertown, something is wrong. There's crimson everywhere. The bodies of his neighbors are scattered across the ground, so Jin's heart starts pounding as he runs toward his house. Inside, Kanzaki is slumped against the wall with wounds all over his body. Jin doesn't understand what he's seeing, because he thinks everyone is just sleeping. He rushes to Kanzaki and tries to wake him up, promising to put spit on his wounds because that's what his grandpa always taught him. But Kanzaki sighs because he knows what he told Jin was a lie. Jin asks why everyone is sleeping, and Kanzaki tells him they're not sleeping. They're gone. Jin doesn't understand what that word means, so Kanzaki uses his last bit of strength to hug him tightly and deliver his final lesson. Violence is what put everyone in their current state, and this is the result he was always warning him about. Then Kanzaki stops breathing. Jin still doesn't get it because he thinks his grandpa is just tired. He loads Kanzaki's body onto a cart and drags it through the pouring rain to a nearby clinic, banging on the door and begging for help. The owner opens the door and demands payment, but Jin only has a handful of coins. The owner pushes him away and slams the door because he doesn't care about some homeless kid's problems. Jin pushes the cart through the rain, passing by houses with warm lights inside. He sees families eating dinner together, laughing, being happy. He doesn't understand the emotions flooding through his body because he's never felt anything like this before. He tries calling Kuga using the special phone they shared, but at the Amagi mansion, Kuga's father catches him with the phone and breaks it before Kuga can answer. The call drops on Jin's end, so it seems like his only friend ignored him in his darkest hour. Out of desperation, Jin remembers Akimi's business card and finds her. She immediately takes him and Kanzaki's body to the hospital without asking questions. When the detectives arrive, they recognize the wound pattern because it matches a serial attacker they've been tracking, someone they call the Wind Monster. Detective Sayama notices how destroyed Jin looks inside. He hands Jin a pendant that belonged to Kanzaki and tells him that when things get tough, he should keep his head up high because he won't find hope lying on the ground. Jin asks what hope is, so Sayama points to the room where Akemi is resting and tells him that she is his hope now. Akemi offers to take Jin in without hesitation. She gives him a bath, feeds him, and treats him like family. In the tub, she tells Jin to stop calling her lady and to call her big sister instead. She asks if he's ever bathed with his mom before, and Jin says he's never had parents, just his grandpa. Akemi hugs him tightly because she can see how broken he is. Jin feels a rush of emotions he's never experienced before, and he starts crying without understanding why, because the last time someone held him like this was the moment before his grandpa stopped breathing. But the nightmare isn't over. The next day, Jin and Akemi go shopping together. She's happy, and he's trying to be. But on their way home, a tongue shoots out of nowhere and pierces Akemi through the chest. The serial attacker has found Jin. He's a player, a chameleon-type monster who can extend his tongue like a blade. He reveals that he was the one who ended Kanzaki and everyone else in Undertown because he's been hunting Jin specifically. He can sense what Jin really is. Jin stands in front of Akemi to protect her, but the monster stabs him through the chest and tosses him aside like garbage. Before the monster can finish Akemi, she manages to knock him down, but he slashes her face and leaves a deep scar. Something awakens inside Jin. His eyes change and his hair straightens as lightning crackles around his body. The angel's ring on his hand starts glowing bright because something deep within him is responding to the danger. In an explosion of energy, Jin transforms. His body becomes covered in a black skin-tight suit with a mask-like face, making him look like a demon. The chameleon monster barely has time to whisper one word, charisma, before Jin launches at him and erases him from existence with a single strike. Jin transforms back to normal and passes out immediately because his body can't handle the strain. When he wakes up in the hospital, Akemi is alive. Her face is scarred, but she's smiling as she pulls Jin into a hug. For now, Jin has found a new family. Years pass and Jin is now a young man living in Undertown, still charging people 10,000 yen to save them. Akemi runs a food stall nearby and dreams of saving enough money to send Jin to school. But Jin tells her not to bother because he's fine just staying with her forever. She responds by giving him a playful nuggie on the head. Meanwhile, Kuga has become the golden boy of the Amagi family. He's captain of his high school's soccer team, surrounded by adoring fans, and still obsessed with becoming a hero of justice like his favorite TV character, Alphas. At a formal party celebrating his achievements, a host asks Kuga what he wants to be when he graduates. He answers that he wants to be a hero of justice, and the crowd laughs because they think it's a joke. But Kuga isn't laughing because he means every word. He's assembled a team of former Amagi Corporation employees who believe in his vision. They've developed prototype gadgets and have been patrolling the city at night looking for crimes to stop. So when an arsonist starts burning buildings across Tokyo, Kuga sees his chance to prove himself as a real hero. The arsonist is actually a player who can generate and control fire. He's been burning buildings just because he enjoys watching things burn. Jin can sense when players are nearby, so he notices the fires too. Both of them arrive at a burning building on the same night. Inside, a family is trapped because the mother has been knocked unconscious by a falling shelf. Kuga calculates the risks and concludes they can't save everyone. So the smart move is to leave the mother behind and save the children. Jin ignores him completely. He picks up the mother, puts her on the bed with the children, and tells them to hold on tight. Then he carries all of them through a collapsed floor to safety, using nothing but willpower because he refuses to leave anyone behind. Kuga watches in disbelief because his calculations said it was impossible. Yet Jin did it anyway. But Jin isn't finished because the arsonist is still inside. The problem is that Jin left his special activation gum at home. This gum was developed by the Amagi Corporation to help Jin trigger his transformation without extreme emotional trauma. So without it, Jin can't transform on command. The arsonist finds Jin and immediately recognizes what he is. He transforms into his true form, a monstrous fire creature, and starts beating Jin down while taunting him about how players are superior to humans and shouldn't have to hide anymore. Jin tells him to shut up. The arsonist stabs him through the chest, but instead of going down, Jin feels his angel's ring activate because the pain triggers something deep inside him. Lightning surrounds his body as he transforms into ZET. Jin uses Kuga's fire-extinguishing spray to prevent the flames from healing the monster, then engulfs him in a whirlwind of air that suffocates him completely because fire can't burn without oxygen. The arsonist is finished, but something goes wrong. Jin's heart beats once, then stops. He collapses as his pendant shatters on the ground because his body can't handle the incomplete transformation. Konoha picks up the broken pendant just as firefighters arrive. Jin is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. At the hospital, the press holds a conference praising Kuga as the hero who saved the family. His father uses the opportunity to promote the Amagi Corporation's technology. Kuga knows the truth. Jin was the real hero, but he stays silent because his father told him to. Meanwhile, Kuga's grandfather Mitsugai learns about Jin's existence. He's the chairman of the Amagi Corporation and the man who originally created the players decades ago. He's been searching for Zet ever since Kanzaki stole him, so he orders his men to retrieve Jin immediately. Jin wakes up in a strange room and sees Akemi being held by a monster through a window. Jin screams for them to let her go. His angel's ring activates on its own because his rage is overwhelming. Lightning explodes around his body as he transforms and smashes through the glass barrier separating them. He fights the monster with everything he has, but his power is unstable because his transformation isn't complete. The monster beats him down while calling him weak and incomplete. Just when it looks hopeless, Jin's anger reaches its peak and he ends the monster with a single punch that shatters its entire body. But when Jin catches his reflection in a mirror, he freezes because a monster is staring back at him. He doesn't recognize himself. A scientist monitoring the fight explains the situation. Jin's transformation is incomplete and his cellular structure is deteriorating rapidly. If he doesn't defeat all nearby players, his body will break down because his Zet factors need to eliminate all threats to stabilize. There's one more player in the room, Akemi. Jin refuses to believe it and screams at Mitsugai's team to turn her back to normal. But before anything can happen, one of the bodyguards shoots Akemi in the head. Jin falls to his knees in despair. Then Mitsugai reveals the truth. That wasn't really Akemi because it was a clone, an illusion created to test Jin's emotional limits. The real Akemi is still alive, still running her food stall, completely unaware of what happened. Jin can barely process this because he's been manipulated, and his emotions have been weaponized against him. Mitsugai introduces himself properly as the chairman of the Amagi Corporation. He's the original creator of the players and reveals everything Jin never knew about his past. Jin was created in the Amagi laboratories as a weapon designed to sense and destroy players. The scientists called him ZET, but Kanzaki believed Jin deserved to live as a human, so he stole him from the lab and raised him as his grandson. Now Mitsugai needs Jin's help because the escaped players have been living among humans for years. Some integrated peacefully while others have been secretly attacking people. Jin is the only one who can track them down. Jin asks why he should help the people who created the monsters in the first place. Mitsugai tells him the harsh truth. Players can sense Jin just like he can sense them. As long as Jin exists, everyone around him is in danger because the players will hunt anyone connected to him. The only way to protect the people he cares about is to stay away from them forever. Jin is devastated, but he agrees to work with Mitsugai under certain conditions. He wants Mitsugai to fix Akemi's facial scar and help her find the child she lost years ago. In exchange, Jin will become Zet and hunt the players. From this moment on, Jin abandons his human life. Mitsugai takes Jin deep underground to a place called the Forgotten Land, the ruins of the original player laboratory. There's a massive device there called the Ring of Exposure, which was used to force players to reveal their true forms. Jin's Angel's Ring is connected to it somehow, though even Mitsugai doesn't fully understand the connection. As Jin leaves the facility, he passes by Akemi's food stall without stopping. She feels something is wrong and runs outside, confused because she knows she was supposed to see someone. But Jin is already gone because he can't risk putting her in danger. Konoha arrives at the stall shortly after. She and Akemi talk about Jin, and Akemi gives her Kanzaki's pendant because she believes Konoha is more likely to see Jin again. Watching from the shadows, a man named Haitani smiles because he's been waiting for this moment for a very long time. 2 years pass. Jin has been training in secret at Mitsugai's facility. His body was scanned and analyzed to create special tools, a custom suit that fuses with his body during transformation, and special chewing gum that stimulates his Zeot factors so he can transform without emotional trauma. He's stronger now, faster, and more controlled. But his transformation is still incomplete because the scientists don't know how to push him to the next level. Jin moves back to Undertown and becomes a silent protector. He fights players in the shadows and never reveals himself to anyone from his past. The homeless people notice that violent crime has dropped dramatically, but they don't know why because Jin operates completely alone. Kuga, meanwhile, has been suffering for 2 years because he knows Jin was the real hero during the arson. He knows he froze while Jin saved lives, and the guilt has been eating him alive. His assistant Hayami has been working on a secret project, a performance-enhancing suit modeled after Kuga's favorite anime hero, Alphys. The suit uses Amagi Corporation technology to enhance the wearer's strength, speed, and combat abilities. When Kuga sees the prototype, he's moved to tears because this is his chance to become a real hero. But someone else has been watching Kuga for a long time. A strange old man named Jiro has been stalking him and testing his definition of justice. Jiro hates the Amagi family because Kuga's father, Shizu, buried him alive years ago to cover up the player experiments. Jiro's son, Ichiru, died in that underground prison. But Jiro didn't stay dead because he used player DNA to resurrect his son and keep himself alive through sheer hatred. Now the two of them are plotting revenge against the Amagi family alongside the mysterious Haitani. At a food distribution event in Undertown, Konoha and her mother are handing out meals to the homeless. Jin passes by and Konoha recognizes him immediately. She chases after him and tells him she still sees Akemi sometimes. She mentions that Akemi received a letter saying Jin reunited with his parents. Jin stops walking because he knows that letter was a lie, created by Mitsugai's team to explain his disappearance. He tells Konoha to stop coming around him, then walks away without looking back because he remembers what Mitsugai said about players targeting anyone close to him. Konoha doesn't understand why he's being so cold. She watches him leave while still holding the pendant she's been keeping for years. When Jin gets home, he finds a pink-haired girl named Hanako hiding in his closet. She's terrified because she saw a monster melt a man's face and has been running ever since. Jin tells her to leave, but she refuses because she's too scared to be alone. Against his better judgment, Jin lets her stay. That night, Jin senses danger and runs outside to investigate, leaving Hanako behind. The monster that's been hunting her catches up. It's the Sand Monster's partner, a bug-type player with the ability to create clones. Two of them corner Hanako and start taunting her about how worthless she is. Jin appears and offers to save her for 10,000 yen. She agrees because she has no other choice. One of the men mocks him for charging money, so Jin knocks all of them out in a split second. But the Sand Monster survived their previous encounter. He transforms into his true form and attacks Jin, who can't transform because he forgot his activation gum at home. The fight is brutal because the Sand Monster's body releases corrosive particles that start melting Jin's skin. Just when it seems hopeless, Jin's ring finally activates on its own. He destroys the monster's body, but he doesn't notice that the monster's head transformed into a bug and crawled away. Jin's body starts melting because the player is still alive somewhere. The Sweeper arrives, a cloaked figure who serves a community of players called the Evils. His job is to eliminate any player who breaks the rules by attacking humans, so he finishes off the Sand Monster's head and saves Jin's life. But then he touches Jin with his sword. Nothing happens. The Sweeper is confused because his sword should dissolve any player it touches, but Jin didn't dissolve because he's not a player. But he's not human either. Before the Sweeper can investigate further, Haitani appears from the shadows. He tells the Sweeper to back off because Zet isn't his concern. Jin asks who Haitani is, and Haitani just smiles because he's been watching Jin for a very long time. He even remembers the day Zet was born. He tells Jin to take good care of the girl he's carrying, then disappears into the darkness. Mitsugai's team explains what happened. The Sweeper works for a community called the Evils, players who decided to live peacefully among humans. They have strict rules, and any player who breaks them gets eliminated by the Sweeper. But Haitani seems to be playing a different game because he's an evil who's manipulating both humans and players for his own agenda. Meanwhile, Kuga finally receives his completed Alpha suit. It's white armor with wings on the forehead and a flowing cape, exactly like his favorite anime hero. He cries when he sees it because this is everything he's ever dreamed of. But Jiro has prepared a test. He calls Kuga and tells him 3 of his female fans will be attacked unless he saves them. But there's a catch. His sister Konoha is supposedly drowning at the school pool at the same time. Kuga can only save one group, the fans or his sister, so he has to make a choice. He chooses his sister. When he arrives at the pool, Konoha is completely fine because she was never in danger. The whole thing was a trick. The 3 fans are gone forever. Jiro calls Kuga back and tells him he failed the test because a true hero saves strangers, not family. Justice isn't supposed to be personal. Kuga is devastated because he tried to be a hero, and 3 innocent people are gone because of his choice. At the same time, Jin runs into Konoha while walking with Hanako. Konoha sees Hanako clinging to Jin's arm, and her heart sinks because she was planning to return his pendant. Jin tells her to stop coming around because he remembers Mitsugai's warning about players targeting anyone close to him. Konoha doesn't understand. She watches him walk away with another girl and feels something break inside her. 2 bug monster brothers make their move. They take Konoha and her friend Tomomi to lure Jin into a trap. One brother fights Jin on the rooftops while the other tortures the girls in a hidden room. Jin is losing badly because without his activation gum, he can't transform. The monster beats him until he's covered in crimson while taunting him about how weak he is. But Jin refuses to give up because he keeps thinking about Konoha and Tomomi being hurt somewhere nearby. He thinks about what it means to protect someone, and the weight of another person's life makes his whole body feel heavy. He realizes this is what it truly feels like to care about someone, so he decides to keep fighting no matter what happens to his body. His Zet factors start rising on their own because his determination is triggering something deep within him. Meanwhile, Konoha is being tortured by the other bug monster. He cuts her neck just enough to make her bleed because he enjoys terrorizing her. The trauma is so intense that she loses control of her bladder. Kuga arrives in his alpha suit and finds Konoha injured. He flies her to safety, but she's lost a lot of fluid. Jin finally finds the room where the girls were held and frees them. But before they can escape, the bug monster stabs him through the chest from behind. Jin should be finished, but instead, his Angel's Ring activates. His transformation stalls because he's not strong enough to reach full power. That's when Haitani appears. He tells Jin that pain is no longer the key to his transformation, because Jin has evolved past that stage. What he needs now is something else entirely. Haitani pulls out a stake made from fragments of the Ring of Exposure, the massive device from the Forgotten Land that forces players to